Okay, I'm glad to welcome Preeti Khode. I think Preeti is connected. Hi.
Hi,
Namaste.
Alessandro. Hi.
Hi.
Namaste.
Preeti Khode, she's director of the design center in the ITM in Mumbai. But coming from a rich professional background in which she has been very active on introducing a new approach for engineering design, product development in fashion systems. So let's see, we can say that basically Preeti bring the professional experience in the educational context, and that's absolutely very important in a context like the one we work with. With this introduction, so talking about a designer and to an educator of design, you train new young designer with experience of in the field, and being active in Mumbai, that we know that is a very dense context, talking about the urban situation and the population, and especially in that period. I would like to ask you your perception, your point of view about the lockdown. If you have a personal opinion on the personal issues, or how you react to the lockdown, and how the society in Mumbai and the professional and react to the lockdown in general. At the same time, and I think that the two things are connected, I will ask you to explain us why it's very easy to understand the meaning, but why you choose, if there is a specific reason why you choose responsible as a term in our as a keyword for our conversation.
Yeah, so thank you, Alessandro, for that generous introduction. But let me first of all congratulate you for this unique thought of this 24-hour worldwide conversation, which I have seen for the first time in my life. And I congratulate the entire Polimi Design System community, who I'm sure has worked day and night to make this a flawless, unique, and such an interesting event. And I'm really enjoying to listen to these conversations, and there's so much to learn from everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to start with talking a little bit about the organization that I'm currently working with, and you know more than me, I would say, because so ITM group of institutions, which is established in 1991 and has collaborated with Politecnico Milano and some other educational institutions to come up with ITM Institute of Design and Media, and we've been doing very well over the decade in India. And thanks to you and the faculty who travel from Politecnico Milano to also conduct classes for our students, and they're really very exciting. Now coming to the COVID situation. Okay, so since I'm talking about the organization, so I'll just talk about the institution and the academics, and then move on to the city at large. So while at ITM, Institute of Design and Media, we have taken this up very positively, in the sense that the objective is in no way that the students' learning experience should get deterred, but rather it should get richer and make them ready, future ready, I would say. So as design educators, we see ourselves as responsible for the progressive emergence of our students, to ensure that their quality of learning only gets richer, and help them adapt and be better prepared to handle the challenging times in this new era. So to begin with, our faculty started conducting online classes. We had faculty training programs immediately. Once this lockdown happened and we sensed the things, our management had given us clear directions, and we had faculty development programs for online teaching. An entire online teaching content for a semester is ready. We had online exams, juries, and I would like to say that the students actually enjoyed this experience. Well, of course, on one hand, they did miss the campus and, physically being on the campus, meeting the faculty and interacting with their friends directly at a physical level. However, but they are glad that they did not miss any content, although this time was so challenging, and that is there. And also now what we are planning is to have a blended form of learning going ahead, till because times are unpredictable as of now. So in this blended form of learning, we're going to continue with online classes, and as soon as we have permissions from the ministry to allow students to come to the campus, we will be having classes on the campus also, practicals, lab related work which will happen on the campus, and necessary hygiene measures for this and social distancing. Everything is being perfectly planned and taken care of by the management, I'd say. Okay, and then to sum up with COVID and lockdown, I kind of felt that this was a boon. The lockdown is a boon because it is making us prepared, and it is telling us that, look, there is a new time that is coming, a new era that is coming. And until this thing did not happen, we will not see a belief, a habit pattern change. So it's a time that definitely shook people. But I believe that, until this shaking exercise doesn't happen, we will not change. Our habits will not change. So I'll just go deeper into that. So what I'm saying is lockdown has become a time for reflection, self-actualization for most of us. And I somehow feel that nature in this lockdown has forced us to look inward. And as we go back, we realize how in the tap of fast fashion, growing consumerism in the industrial era, we probably lost our roots. We forgot where we actually came from. The consequences of these have made us reflect outward, and now we feel that there's a greater sense of responsibility for us socially, ethically, and as if we've woken up into a new era, for sure. Well, so what I feel is that design is and is going to play an integral and a far more responsible role in this evolving time. Design is certainly a change agent and has a strength to unify people and work in a plethora of 360-degree approaches and possibilities, blend modern technology and human values to create a better, happier, and safer world. So I definitely look up to designers across the world. I'm sure research and innovation is going to come to the forefront, and we are going to make it happen. We are going to rebuild a positive and a beautiful world very soon. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to continue a little more. I'm sure you have more questions, but give me a few more minutes. Yeah. We have also realized the consequences of our increased consumption. And, somewhere all of us realize that, when we are in this lockdown, we realize that we're able to survive. Our needs have become lesser. Our expenses became lesser. So what is it that we were doing? We were actually overspending, causing more stress to ourselves. Our needs had multiplied. We had frequent buying patterns, not really aware whether we really need that much. And all this possibly was done in a pursuit of economic growth. So this pandemic has asked us to redefine and understand exactly what are our needs and what are our wants. We have got habituated to buying more than what we need. We're not realizing that we are caught up in a vicious circle. Well, our Earth has limited resources, and unless we can confine our use to these resources to below the level at which they can be replenished, we will run out. Our chairman, Shri P.V. Ramana, once I just, I was buying a lot of some pots and things for an event and all. So he said, Preeti, value resources, use them judiciously. And that is just imprinted in my mind. And that is what I say, that is the core of the Indian culture, the value systems that has been there ingeniously, that we have in the past always valued the earth's resources, used judiciously, had simple living. Okay. One more thing, while I'm talking about the Indian culture, my father always said, and that's something I always hated, of course. So a very Gandhian kind of a philosophy. So he said, no, buy less, buy good, make it last. And during this lockdown, I realized, that those values that were imbibed in the childhood really helped me, even this lockdown period. I, really did not feel any pain or anything as such. And I kind of think that I feel more grateful to my parents now for giving me these values. Although at that time when I was told you don't need so many clothes, you don't need so many shoes, I would contradict with fashion statements. But my father always stood firmly on these principles, and so does today. And I guess that is also to do with the Indian value systems. And therefore, I feel that design needs to reinvent itself to find where it interacts with responsibility and ethics. We need to conceive design as more than mass production of things. So now I relate to my industry work experience, where literally I was known as a designer who can mass produce designs, no doubt. I was labeled. Okay, I need so many designs tomorrow, this, that, and it's like known in the textile industry that only Preeti can deliver this. So I kind of had succumbed myself to the needs of the industry purely in pursuit of year-on-year economic growth for the organization. However much, it's not that there is anything wrong with economic growth. That definitely has to be there. But somewhere a little more sensitization I felt was lacking. So the pandemic situation across the globe has no doubt raised our sense of responsibility to the planet and the people. It has given us an opportunity to change, to make the world a better place for all of us. During this lockdown, I'm sure each design professional has wondered, what is it that I can do? Or how is it that I can contribute? And we saw COVID warriors. We've seen doctors and nurses and the entire, people, everybody from the people who are taking care of the cleaning to all sorts of services, all the COVID warriors working during such times. And then as designers, we're safe at home. There's nothing that we did. And and at such a time, Alessandro, when you've come out with this thought, and this thought is something, this is one initiative that you have taken where designers are giving their views, we talk, we interact, and I am sure this is going to lead to a way forward. We're talking of collaboration, we're talking of bringing out our design ideas together and building a path forward. So this is definitely an initiative, and I feel really happy about this, and I'm sure we will make a change. Okay, Alessandro, just few more things on this. Sorry.
Please, you can go ahead. Then I take some notes and I have some questions.
All right. So also, talking about my industry again experience. So what really happened was, earlier there used to be more use of cotton, linen, natural fibers and things. Eventually, we had competition coming up with chemicals and dyes that are not eco-friendly and cheap subsidies to these things, and also plastic products. I can say even plastic bed sheets in a way I can, because the synthetic bed sheets that came in, and people were not really aware of the hazards of having these things. Sleeping, 60% of what you apply enters your body. So if you're wearing a synthetic garment, that synthetic, that plastic in that is entering the body through the skin. And also such as to go with the chemicals, which are so hazardous and harmful. And in this industrial era, this is what happened. Just merely for economic growth, there were countries that had regulations and did not allow people and industries to use non-eco-friendly stuff. But there were countries which did not have these regulations, and to make money, these bed sheets and these products were imported from countries like China, for example. And people saw these glamorous packaging and things, brought these products, and eventually, I mean, at those times and in every conference and events, I kept telling the distributors, I kept telling the retailers, these are the harmful effects of reactive dyes. This is what is happening with this fabric. And I showed the company where I work, the fabrics of those companies and things like that. But somewhere I just realized that it was a money-making thing, and eventually China kind of took over, and a lot of the textile sector of India just kind of got swept away because of these things. And so therefore, government regulations on imports have to get really tremendously stricter, not allowing these things to happen. Okay, so on one hand, when you have regulations on Indian companies producing these items, there has to be regulations on the imports also. Fast fashion, rapidly changing fashion trends need to be rethought. Well, as designers, we've always looked at forecast. We keep changing, every quarter. The wardrobe should change, the colors should change. Design should change. Now this is out of fashion and this has to be thrown. So there are people, it's on an average, if you look at middle to higher income group, they would be probably buying, close to 45 to 50 garments in a year, and maybe throwing 40 out of that in a year, keeping 5 or 10 out of that, and then again buying. So we keep on stocking and we keep on throwing. And most of these, 70% of these are synthetic, 71% in the globe are synthetic garments, and this also adds, so garments add to the plastic waste of the globe. And therefore, I think we have to be very careful when we say this is in fashion, this is out of fashion, now this is gone, so throw this away. I don't think that really works. And here again, I'd like to mention, the Indian value system. Whereas definitely, in India, like it's a sari, once it is, probably thrown or something, it's converted into another garment or a dupatta or a skirt, blouse, something, or it can become a curtain. So there are multitude ways that it is converted to till it probably becomes a rag, or it is donated or given to someone more needy. So I really appreciate this value of recycling, which is again inbuilt in India. So sustainability, recycling, upcycling, living in harmony with nature need to be paid far greater attention. And I would say probably not only in India, across the globe. If we look at the roots of various countries, people way back prior to industrial era lived in harmony with nature. Okay, so happiness was not in having the number of goods, quantity of goods, number of things. Happiness was being with nature, was living simple, eating good food. Okay, so by sustainability, what we mean is to take into consideration the choice of materials and resources, productions and systems, consumption and the use. So I think we need to look at all these while designing anything in any area of work. Okay, so coming to the environmental awareness and environmental concerns. So we have in this, so many issues that are happening, natural disasters happening across the globe. And definitely it's, so action reaction kind of a thing. So nature is reacting, nature is telling us where we're going wrong. So with rising environmental awareness, our understanding of the consequences of our action has increased. We recognize how even the smallest of decisions create effects that seem so very distant or at such massive scale. Design would carry far greater sensitivity and attention to detail going forward. This pandemic definitely has brought these things to the forefront. Designers need to conceive products, spaces, lifestyles that facilitate better hygiene and health management. And a lot of the other speakers have been talking about this, and this is definitely at the forefront now. We need to take into account, so we are responsible. We need to take into account the long-term consequences of our action. We cannot isolate ourselves and work for personal gains. Somebody might contradict, saying that what about economic growth? Yeah. So what may for once sound like a degrowth, I would say this is a temporary phenomena. I call it a new beginning, a beginning of an era of abundance, and also how we perceive what is abundance. An abundance that seeks to build on simple truths such as happiness, mental health, peace, and a planet which is able to support life as being more important than merely financial gains. What is the point of talking of financial gains when you just cannot survive, when your planet cannot live? So if you have to live, you have to live in harmony with nature. It's a call for everyone to together reorder our priorities, put things that matter most at the heart of a new cultural economy. It is time for socially responsible design, characterized by attitudes that value justice, equality, participation, and sharing. Lockdown has made us ready to delve deeper into research and innovation. And I am 100%, 200% sure that going forward, we are going to see tremendous amount of research and innovation across spheres of design. And everyone will be coming out with solutions towards this, be it architects, be it product designers, textile designers, fashion designers, it could be filmmakers or advertisements, digital and media personnel. Everyone will be innovating, and we will have solutions to this. We will move more from a problem-solving approach and probably aim to design a problem-resilient and safe planet. So I'm sure creativity, innovation, and research shall be at the forefront to deliver a new global environmental reality and propose the inception of a better designed and more resilient world. Also, our cities, towns, villages are still developing, and much more is needed. This is our opportunity to rebuild, reduce disaster risk, and improve the quality of our lives. There has been, a tremendous, urbanization, huge density of populations in urban cities, tremendous development on the one hand in urban cities, and the tier 2, tier 3 cities are still way behind. And post-lockdown, I am very sure we are going to see development happening even in these places. A lot of migrant labor from the cities have fled, have gone back to their villages and towns. And I suppose they will also innovate and come up with ways of survival there, because somewhere they have a fear to come back to the cities. Designers as innovators with entrepreneurial capabilities can help people generate new incomes. So basically can help develop new income generating businesses to come up. And also can help the survival for the existing businesses and crafts through product diversification and development and new ideas. And I'm sure even this is going to see a splurge. So I call it a new beginning once again. We must recognize the interdependence between the countryside and the city. Without a new urban-rural discourse, we will not be able to advance towards a more just, equitable, and sustainable future. So we need to challenge assumptions. We need to bring disruption. We need to break barriers. We have to get proactive, flexible, and adaptable as we envision to create a better, happier, and a safer new world. Okay. And also, I would say that, online teaching, learning, and online buying has become a way of life for all of us across the globe. And going ahead, we shall further embrace modern technology. We will see applications of virtual reality, artificial intelligence, but definitely in a regulated manner, blended with human values, ensuring safety of people. Okay. I've taken enough of your time.
No, it's interesting. What is the conversation that 24-hour conversation means that we hosted 48 conversations, and it's a very interesting and wide scenario in which we can see differences in terms of approach, in terms of interest, and now as we are at the end of our 24 hours, we can have a very wide picture of the worldwide impression about design, and especially on the topic of let's see, after COVID, after lockdown. I think you touch a lot of points, and it's not easy to, but there are a couple of things that I think that are maybe a bit crucial. And I connect with the term responsible, because in any case, the responsibility, the responsible role of a designer as a, let's see, as a changing agent in our society is emerging as even more important. Well, it's always been important, but it's even more important in such a situation of emergency, and especially in a situation where the emergency is worldwide. Any country any country is affected by, any country has to react to the same problem. So, and the reactions are very different. And when we were, and when somebody is still locked down, as you mentioned, as a designer, all of us were thinking about. It's interesting when you say what I could do, because design is practice-based, no? And so design is in the sense that design is always moving forward a solution or a better scenario, or in any case, is always searching something like developing a new scenario that can be thanks to a strategy or not. So I really think that even because we have a different in the last couple of hours, we have a different input from India. I think that your country has a very complex reality, deserve several, more than one. Of course, it's a very big complexity in terms of society, in terms of production, but even in terms of territories. Mumbai has a situation that is very different from the north of the country and from the rural area. So it's not easy. I think that it sounds a bit ingenuous imagining that there will be one solution, but probably the idea is to educate, to train a generation of designers, of a new designer that are focused on the responsible role, and that became a changing agent for their country and their society. So I really thank you for your talk and to be part of the 24-hour conversation. And really thank you again, Preeti. Khode, has been a pleasure, and I hope we will have the opportunity soon, because our time is expired, and so. Shukriya and
Shukriya. Thank you very much, Alessandro. Congratulations once again to you and everybody at Polimi Design System. And I thank you from this on behalf of the ITM Group of Institutions Management. Also,
thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.